few years ago, Mel Bochner did an exhibition here in which he installed on the facade of the building this frieze of the joys of Yiddish, and that directly touched on the relationship between the history of the building and the fate of the Yiddish language in Germany. So that led us to now look at other instances in which artists have reflected on the building. And there was Boltanski from 20 years ago, and then there was Gustav Metzger, and these artists were directly intervening into the architecture.
Gustav Metzger ist bei seinen Recherchen in der British Library auf einen Begriff gestoßen, der ihn sofort interessiert hat. Dieser Begriff war Judenpech, eine Bezeichnung für Asphalt, die seit der Antike gebräuchlich war. Und Travertin war ein Baustoff, den die Nationalsozialisten vorwiegend für ihre Großbauprojekte benutzt haben, zum Beispiel für das Reichsparteitagsgelände in Nürnberg. Metzger hat diese Doppelbedeutung sehr interessiert und 1999 ließ er dann einen Teil der Säulenhalle des Haus der Kunst asphaltieren. Er hat gesagt, damals als Kind hätte er nie dieses Gebäude betreten dürfen, aber heute, 1999 und 2015 bei der Reaktivierung, kann er einen Eingriff in dieses Gebäude machen. Und für ihn war das nicht nur eine Intervention in die Architektur, sondern auch ein Eingreifen in die Geschichte.
Travertin Judenpech, which is this piece made by Metzger, was the first time he came back to Munich. He was one of the young Jewish children who were evacuated from Germany, landing in England in the early 30s, and never to see his parents again. And so for him, a reflection on this troubling history in his own life. So on the one hand, we talked about the wounds of history, but this particular unhealable rift within his biography was the occasion to reflect on the contact point between the space of art that violated his own belonging to the German nation and the representative nature of the building itself.
For me, most important, it touches the center of my being, my history, is Judenpech, and the invitation, the opportunity to present some thoughts on this in Munich, and especially in this remnant of the Nazi past, is of central significance. And I come back to saying how grateful I am to be given the opportunity to voice my concern and my understanding of history.
The architecture is our first object. It's not just a building, it's a historical object. And ever since the name of the building was changed from Haus der Kunst to Haus der Kunst, this has been a very, very important question. What to do with this building? Whether to demolish it in terms of its relationship to its past, or whether to keep it because after all, it's a building. So we thought this was an opportunity to work with artists who have reflected on this question of intervention into the architecture and revisit those projects that were realized on the architecture from, 20 and 16 years ago. What is this work about? Who are those people? Why are these eyes looking at us? What do the eyes connote? Fundamental to this particular work is the very basic conceptualization of Boltanski's work and his ongoing meditation on the question of loss and memory. The faces that you see, or more specifically, the eyes that you see on the facade, are taken from a book called documenting the so-called group Rote Kapelle, who were members of the resistance movement during the Nazi times, who were captured or arrested by the Gestapo. And the images you see, photographs like mugshots, taking these fragments and putting them on the facade is really confronting us, not merely with these figures that still remain as part of the way in which we think about memory and witnessing. And so it's a public work. Yes, it's on the facade of Haus der Kunst, but it's a work that is oriented towards the city. It's a work that is directed towards the population in the city.
Ça m'avait intéressé de parler de ça et de montrer ces yeux, qui étaient ces yeux de gens qui avaient refusé, et de mettre ça sur les murs de la Haus der Kunst, qui est un lieu extrêmement chargé, puisque c'était un lieu construit par les nazis, comme des témoins. Et comme des témoins qui nous regardent, qui ne nous jugent pas, mais qui disent « Nous, on a fait ça, qu'est-ce que vous auriez fait ?» Et donc de poser cette question, qu'est-ce qu'on aurait fait? Et qu'est-ce qui différencie moi ou tous et ceux-là qui ont refusé?
Wenn man sich dieses Spruchband anschaut, fallen einem zwei Sachen auf. Zum einen die Farbgebung, dieses grelle Gelb der Wörter, der Hintergrund schwarz, der an die Armbinden und Aufnäher erinnert, mit denen die Nationalsozialisten die jüdische Bevölkerung stigmatisiert hatten. Zum anderen sind es Wörter, und wir haben eine Übersetzung den Besuchern mitgegeben aus der jiddischen Umgangssprache. Und diese Verbindung, die Verbindung der Farbe der Täter mit der Sprache der Opfer, das ist das, was für Mel Bochner auch typisch ist. Eine subtile Provokation, die gleichzeitig am Haus der Kunst angebracht, also an einem Gebäude des Nationalsozialismus, hat diese Installation noch zusätzlich eine historische Brisanz.
Was also a way to talk about the disappearance of this language from Germany. And the disappearance of the language, obviously, refers actively and directly to the disappearance of Jewish culture in Germany. So he's an artist who works very carefully with codes, with meaning, with translation, with the physicality of language itself. The architectural program is very ceremonial. It is very, grandiose. And that sense of elevation, which has both its rhetorical and propaganda, ideology, is sometimes kind of brought to a level ground by the way in which the artists try to humanize the building.